So the main issue is the illiquidity, right, that we're trying to solve. And what we're aiming to do is that users that will contribute with Polkadot to their favorite projects through the Ankr StakeFi platform will be granted a Parachain liquid bonding token, which will represent one bonded Polkadot token plus the rewards that the project will are promising to give. And the idea is that when you get that token as a ERC20 token, you will be able then to claim the rewards from Akala, Moonbeam, Clover. That's the projects that are listed right now on the platform. And this is all packaged in a way where you can claim those rewards easily. So that's also a second inefficiency, which is the inability to borrow against bonded tokens. And the last one, which is also important and maybe a differentiator when compared to other projects, is also that we enable the ability to switch from one project to another. So if you participated to the Moonbeam crowd loan and you get a Parachain liquid bonding token rewarding Moonbeam tokens, but then you change your mind and you realize that you will rather get some rewards in Akala tokens instead of Moonbeam tokens. So then you will have the ability to sell your Parachain liquid bonding reward in Moonbeam against Polkadot. And then if you find on the market an opportunity to buy the Parachain liquid bonding reward in Akala tokens, then you can get that one. So currently, you will not be able to switch between projects after that they won the Parachain slot auction. So the benefits here are mostly liquidity, right, which will be enabled through either auction or borrowing. So that's where our partnership with Clover Finance and Bounce Finance and ONX Finance come into play. And why not traditional liquidity pools? Because if you give uh, that kind of token that enables you to claim rewards, if you give it in a liquidity pool, then it will be the liquidity pool that will be able to claim the rewards, and then you end up like losing that ability to receive rewards. So that's why through auction, that will be the most suitable way to trade those tokens, so that you keep the ability to be able to claim the rewards. Um, one specificity as well is that those rewards you will be able to claim it if you hold the Parachain liquid bonding token. So if you sell it, the buyer is going to be able to claim the remaining rewards that are tied to that product. That also makes that product more valuable in our opinion, and that should make sure that that product is actually hopefully traded at a premium, because if you buy that token on the secondary market, you remove the uncertainty of potentially supporting a project that is not going to win. So and that product then should have a yield that is higher than Polkadot staking rewards. So depending on what is going to be the price of Akala tokens and Moonbeam tokens, which is still uncertain, depending on how it's going to be traded, this is going to define what is the APR of that product, right? Because you can see now on Binance, for example, that you see the APR when you contribute through their platform, but that APR is based on the additional BNB tokens that are given to you. Why? Because BNB is liquid. You have a price, and you can then define what is the APR. But for the tokens of these projects, it is not always like fair traded on the market. So then it's not that clear what is going to be the APR. So the second benefit is that you hold then a product that is able to that grants you the ability to claim rewards that will likely be higher than staking rewards from KSM and Polkadot. You will be able to borrow against that, and that's quite important, right? Because in some way the parachain slot auctions that give you the ability to earn rewards, it is a bit similar to farming in some way, right? Because those projects, they want you to support them and they give you rewards. However, uh, our product ties those rewards into the parachain liquid bonding, which allows you to take that token with you and to borrow against it without losing those rewards. So that was also an important decision that we took when we were trying to make the design of the product, because when we try to design products at Ankr, we always think ahead and we think about what is going to be the ecosystem for that token, right? It's not just about creating a product to capture some TVL. What we want to do is to build partnerships to make sure that the whole ecosystem makes actually sense, and we approach those partners to make sure that they are on board to make that ecosystem happen. And the last one is what we call market makers. So that's a feature that we will explain later in the slides. So that slide may be relevant for Clover Finance. So here, what is interesting is that we use the Ethereum as the main settlement layer to issue A.P. So that's the Ankr Polkadot liquid bonding tokens rewarding XYZ. So that can be Akala, Clover, Moonbeam. It depends on the project that you will support. However, those rewards then are able to be claimed on the Polkadot network. So then you will be able to claim those rewards directly into your Polkadot wallet. So here it is basically a multi-chain product where you have the Ethereum as the main settlement layer, and you have Polkadot to claim the rewards. So with Clover Finance, for those that are not familiar, it is a multi-chain wallet. So then you can conveniently uh, operate on both chains at the same time when you interact with the Clover wallet. So now we're working on the integration of Clover wallets. So for the moment, in the first iteration, you can connect your MetaMask with Ethereum network and the Polkadot.js wallet to be able to claim the rewards to your Polkadot wallet. But then when you have Clover, you can only connect Clover wallets, and then you claim both rewards at the same time. And then the objective, obviously, it will be similarly to liquid staking, is to connect that to the bridge, and then to connect those tokens, well, to bridge those tokens into the bridge, which its specificity is that it bridges yield generating tokens from Ankr to make sure that then you can claim the rewards, the same amount of rewards in every chain that you bridge it to. Because if you use a traditional bridge, you will likely lose the ability to claim the rewards. So that's why that's a product that will come up next month. So the participants of the Parachain liquid bonding is mostly um, through auction. So the left-hand side, it will be Bounce Finance, which is an auction marketplace. And the right-hand side is lending, which will happen on ONX Finance. So on the auction side, you actually need what we call in finance the sell side and the buy side. You need to have people that are willing to sell those Parachain liquid bonding tokens, and you need to have some other participants that want to buy those Parachain liquid bonding tokens. And here, that can come from two main sources, in our opinion. So the ones that want to sell is for liquidity seekers, right? That participated into the Parachain crowd loan, and they want to cash out for like any reason, right? And then they need to meet other people that are willing to seek yield opportunities, right? That are willing to buy those tokens. However, there is an important function which is the market makers, which are participants in traditional finance. It's usually banks and brokers, that try to evaluate what is a fair value of such a token, and they run their evaluation method, and they decided that they will be always ready to buy at a specific price and to sell at another price. So those participants as well will also need to operate in that market, and they will indirectly contribute for the liquidity of that auction marketplace to make sure that you have a buyer or a seller that happens rather quickly instead of waiting weeks like for traditional NFTs. On the lending side, you can borrow against the Parachain liquid bonding tokens. So that's something that ONX Finance is working on in what we call the ONX Lending V2 platform. And here that enables liquidity, but that also enables you to have the possibility to borrow some Polkadot tokens, which then you can use to buy more of these Parachain liquid bonding tokens eventually if you want to, and basically leverage those rewards. So the use cases to sum up in that Parachain liquid bonding ecosystem is liquidity through auction, liquidity through borrowing, leverage the rewards through borrowing. It's the ability to bet only on winning projects. So you can skip out the crowd loans, remove the uncertainty, and only be ready to buy those Parachain liquid bonding tokens on the auction marketplace so that you don't lose time, right, to face that uncertainty that you're betting on on the wrong horse, for example. And the last one is the market maker part, which is something that will be enabled by Bounce Finance. So, Mike, maybe you can tell us a little bit more about the lending contract for ONX Finance, and maybe explain to the audience how it is different from traditional lending platforms such as Aave or Compound.
Yeah, for sure. No, like all of our, lending, we are pairing it against things that go up in value, typically, and that are always increasing or earning. So, I don't want to say it's liquidation proof, but it's definitely leaning towards the liquidation resistant side, as long as you responsibly manage your interest on these things. We've been very excited since the beginning, with our original lending and, obviously the plans to expand on that and allow for people to, basically, a version of margin or sort of compounding their investment through it. Um, yeah, it's very, very exciting stuff. I don't know, um, I don't think there's anyone that's really doing it like we're doing it out there, to be honest. Really sort of thinking outside the box on what, you know, collateral means, what it, ways to use what you borrow. And with the Parachain liquid, bonding borrowing coming up, it's certainly unique because as another sort of bond, people are borrowing against it while it's earning essentially, and sometimes they don't necessarily just earn one thing. They may be earning the dot, but also sometimes these projects are incentivizing with more than their own tokens, or even their own boost to the dot. So the potential on the interest is great for these things. No, I know I rambled a little bit. I get excited about this stuff, but hopefully, that added to the conversation a little bit.
Yeah, sure. And I mean, about multiple rewards, actually, Anchor announced yesterday that is going to provide additional rewards on top of Akala and Moonbeam and Clover
Yeah, that's
rewards.
right.
There will be additional Anchor rewards on top of it. So that's great that you can use those products without losing those like double rewards when you try to borrow against it. Yeah, so the ONX lending, I think one part that is really important to understand is like it is fundamentally different than Aave and compound lending, because Aave and compound lending is you have a lending side and a borrowing side, right? And whatever you put on the lending side, the platform is expecting other users to borrow, right, whatever you put on the lending side. However, on ONX Finance, the lending platform was designed initially for liquid staking, where it doesn't really make sense that you put on the lending side a token that is able to generate rewards in itself. Why? Because then if you borrow, why will you borrow a token that is able to give you rewards? So you can do that, but if you put that token on the lending side, then you lose the rewards of that token. And that's not necessarily something that you want to do as a user. So here you have the lending side, right, where users can supply Polkadot tokens. And on the borrowing side, you have two main parts. You have the part about the collateral, which in itself allows you to earn rewards. So that with ONX Lending V2, it's not only going to be ETHC, which is the Ankr Ethereum liquid staking, it will be also liquidity pools. It can be Volt tokens, and now that's what we're going to integrate is also Parachain liquid bonding tokens. So all kind of yield generating token can be accepted as collateral, and then you have the borrowing side, so you need to borrow against that. But then the important part that you said that it's liquidation resistant is that we're not accepting any type of collateral, right? Because here in that example, you put in collateral bonded Polkadot and you borrow Polkadot. So intrinsically, it is the same, right? It is Polkadot behind it. And here, just for the record, on dot is, without expanding too much on that, it is basically a Polkadot stablecoin that will be enabled by ONX Finance, collateralized by Polkadot liquid staking tokens from Ankr, which are also ERC20 tokens. So here it just gives you the ability to do everything on ERC20 level. And then with Anchor Bridge, so that then you might have the possibility to do that in other chains. So I think those aspects are important to understand that that lending is fundamentally different and specially designed for that kind of use cases. And that's why Anchor has been choosing ONX Finance as a strategic partner to enable that kind of new products that are suited for the Anchor StakeFi tokens that we are enabling. So for the auction, so this is for Bounce Finance. So here on Bounce Finance, you already have a traditional auction marketplace. So here the liquidity for that side, it will be enabled through auction, where you basically do a fixed swap auction where you basically state that you want to sell 100 A.P rewarding Akala tokens, and then you basically state that your swap price that you want to swap it for a minimum 0.98, for example. And then whoever comes first is able to get those A.P. So someone can bid, for example, 10 A.P, and then you will have only 90 left, and then whoever comes can benefit from that. For the other option that is possible on Bounce Finance, it's something where you don't have a fixed price, but you set a minimum price and some time limit so that you can sell your A.P against on dot. So again, that's the Polkadot stablecoin backed by Polkadot liquid staking from Ankr, which is not a live product, but that's what we're working on. But you could sell against anything, right? On Bounce Finance, so you could do that against USDC, Ethereum. It just depends on whatever the seller wants to receive in exchange of A.P. It will make it easier that it is against Polkadot, but technically it can be anything. So here to explain that concept of market maker and what I was referring to. So in traditional finance, you have two type of markets where you actually need market makers, which is fixed income and the foreign exchange or FX. So here you can see on that Bloomberg screenshot that there is typically banks, right, that are able and willing to buy a specific bond, which is the bid price, and sell at a specific price, which is the ask price. And why do they do that? They do that because they get what we call the bid ask spread, right? So they evaluate those bonds at a specific price, which is not that easy to evaluate the price of a bond, but they do kind of that service, and then they're very happy to sell and buy at a specific price, like when you exchange currency, right? Depending on the currency exchange bureau where you go, you will see that they have a spread, right? And they just make a living by basically enabling people to buy and sell at a specific price, and the spread is just compensating the risk for doing that activity. So we will expect the same to happen with the Parachain liquid bonding. If there is enough people that contribute in the beginning, then that will enable this kind of opportunity. And yeah, we count then on Bounce Finance to incentivize these kind of activity. So hopefully with some auction tokens, um, the market makers. So that's typically what we believe should be the formula to estimate the value of a Parachain liquid bonding token. So that depends mostly on your cost of opportunity, which is the Polkadot staking rewards. It depends on your personal risk tolerance, right? So you might require a premium for getting exposure to Akala rewards instead of Polkadot rewards. So you might apply a premium in there. So that's why you have here like different, right, prices for every provider, because they all have their own risk tolerance and risk preference, and they have all their own fair price, and they're all ready to buy and sell at different prices. That's why you don't have one single price. And here in that example, I mean, if you imagine that Clover will reward if they win like 61%, and the Polkadot staking rewards stays at 13.6 when I did that a few days ago. Then you take into account what is the price of Clover token versus Polkadot token, and then you can basically draw that equation. And here I assume that over the period of 2 years, I want to have kind of 20% more yield on that kind of product versus just holding Polkadot with staking rewards. And then if you draw that equation, you will see that the fair value in line with those transactions, if I will sell that right after receiving that token, I should be willing to buy that token for 1.75 dot token. So technically, you might be able to, a little bit like Launchpad, if you get a seat in the beginning and you win, well then if you sell it on the secondary markets, then you have the possibility to sell it at a premium. We will expect users to, I mean, we will expect that there will be secondary price demand for those products because of the lower uncertainty related to winning or not the Parachain slot auction. Um, and yeah, that was it for the content. So I hope you appreciated it. It was a bit technical, but I think it is also important as this space of as they call it, liquid crowd loans or Parachain liquid bonding. So there is a lot of competition in that space, including from non-DeFi native companies like DEXs, right? Binance, Kraken, and so on. So I think it was important to give you the insights about how the product works, and how we design the product to make sure that it has an ecosystem where you can actually then further use that token, that Parachain liquid bonding token, and yeah, and basically benefit from additional value.
Yeah, and as usual, we're all lucky to have you to educate us and make us so much smarter, like I already feel. Always great to listen to Philippe explain on, such a detailed level how all this stuff works that we're all using as tools, and it's just great to be a part of all this. I mean, just what all these projects are working together to build out is going to be an amazing web of machines and opportunities. So just excited to be a part of it. Thanks.